All of the views and opinions expressed here are those of the individual speaking and may not be representative of KONIG American. At times, language may be considered vulgar. Listener discretion is suggested.
You are now listening to the KONIG Behind the Wheel podcast.
What's going on? I'm Scott from KONIG. That's Nick. And we're here with Wheel Wednesday. It's Wednesday, man. Short week.
Yeah.
Short week. We're just coming off that Labor Day holiday.
Labor Day weekend. Not Labrador, Labor Day.
Labrador Retriever weekend. So, do anything good car-wise?
Not really. I mean, I took the car out to the city, went for a nice little drive. That's pretty much it. Nice little night cruise, no traffic. It was nice and cool.
Nice.
Pretty much it. You?
Yeah, I got some stuff done. I've been trying to spend an infinite amount of time trying to clean my garage and actually get, it's like I have tools everywhere in every bin. You open up every drawer and I have like sockets where, my standard wrenches are. I mean, it was a mess. So I spent a lot of time going through that, and then I actually put up another tire rack on top of the wall so that I could put a spare set of wheels and tires up and get them off my floor.
Oh, nice.
And
I like hanging stuff up on the wall. It just kind of like it makes space for everything. And looks tidy. So
yeah, and I got these Quick Jacks things. No sponsors thing.
Isn't sponsored. Not sponsored by Quick Jacks. I'm pretty sure I saw you post it on your story.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really wanted to be able to, especially during the winter, to be able to put the car up in the air and to have the ability to work on some things and not have to take the car down right away. You know what I mean?
You can just leave it there.
Yeah, and the problem with jack stands to me is that by the time, especially if you're in a garage,
like they wobble.
Well, even if you get them perfectly stable, I think when the thing is like when you get them in the garage and you finally, especially if you're not like in a super wide garage, like by the time you you don't have a lot of jacking room on the sides of the car to try to get, you know what I'm saying? So like a jack from the pumpkin, jack from the front. It's just a process. But so these Quick Jacks, I've been looking at them for a long time, and I love the fact that
finally just pull the trigger on them. Yeah.
So like, I set them up. They were super easy to set up. It probably took me, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes to get these things all racked up. Put them under the car. Got a block up. To give you these little blocks to go on the things. I hit up, and the car just went up. So
nice.
Yeah, so I set that up.
So now you're gonna leave your car on that for the
rest of the year?
For the rest of the year?
No.
Until the springtime?
No, but I do feel like it should be super easy to get the car up in the air and do some stuff maybe in the winter. So
maybe I can borrow that when we work on the Miata.
Oh yeah, no problem. They're portable, but I mean not super light. Anyhow.
Make it happen.
It was a short week and it's a busy week.
Well, what do we got going on this week?
So a few things are going on. The one thing is for the people that are probably messaging us in response to the wheel giveaway, we did fire out a few emails, and we have absolutely contacted a few people. What's interesting is some of those people will be qualified and eligible, and some of them will not be. And that's because if you read the details in the giveaway, we've said it a few times.
They're not subscribed to both.
Right. The whole thing was subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, both. It's in there every single time we put it. You have to do 1 and 2.
Right.
And so there might be some stuff there, but we've messaged them anyway because we're not trying to leave people high and dry. So you'll probably still get a T-shirt or something. So we have a few emails out to people. And listen, you had 24 hours. So, I mean, I'm trying to think. We'll have to check the emails after this just to see if we got anything back. But
nothing yet.
Nothing confirmed, concrete yet. So if we don't have anything today and the 24-hour mark from those emails goes out,
do another draw tomorrow.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Okay. So that's the update on the giveaway, and hopefully maybe the next Wednesday we're going to be saying, "Oh, did you see the winner that we posted?" Or something like that.
Hopefully, I hope it doesn't take a whole week to find our winner.
Yeah. I agree. And, listen, the importance of being signed up for our email newsletter and subscribe to some of these channels is that whether it be Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, email newsletter, we are committed to trying to bring you value. So, yeah, we put some of this content up and different things, but we also randomly will have giveaways, and we may just email you. And if you're not checking your emails from us, you may not see that we're just doing a giveaway for email subscribers. And we may say something like, we send them out just to our email list, and everybody who replies, uses this hashtag or something, we're going to pick one person and give away a set of wheels, or we may contact you randomly, give you a shirt or whatever it may be. So get signed up. It's a good look, But anyhow, it's a busy week this week, this short week. We got so much going on. We got SEMA going on, and the giveaway we just finished.
What do you have to do for SEMA?
Man, SEMA's a nightmare.
Do we have booth cars?
Yeah, so we're working on that. We have out of possible 4 cars. We were only going to go with 3 cars this year, but we may be doing a 4th. We had a last-minute idea, which I'm not going to say yet because in case it doesn't come true, then I don't have to look stupid. But you'll know because if we have 3 cars, then we're whatever. But we have a Gladiator confirmed for our Mamba off-road line. Okay. We have a Tesla Model 3 lined up for our Advanti racing line.
The white one?
I believe it's white. And we also, I don't know if I should say yet, but we have
something else.
we have something else. We have 2 potential cars lined up for KONIG. If not the one that we have locked in 100% is super cool, and we're going to definitely get some coverage when we're out there on the car. And I'll give you a hint. It is an influencer. It's a YouTuber. So, yeah, some of you, let's do this. If you have a guess which YouTuber and which car we might have chosen already 100% to be at SEMA this year, go ahead and comment below.
Nice.
Yeah?
Wonder if anyone's going to get it.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it is.
I know.
So.
This is great.
Okay. So all right, how'd you pick the cars? Like, how do you say, all right, this car is going to be one of our booth cars? And what qualifies a car to be a booth car at SEMA?
Booth car. Yeah, so this is a question we actually get this quite a bit. So I guess how do I address this question? All right, so let's see. So a lot of times to be a SEMA booth vehicle, first off, your vehicle has to look the part and etc. So it's one of those things where if your car is...
What do you mean by look the part? Like be clean and not like...
It's gotta be years ago, and I'm dating myself, right? Because this is my 14th or 15th SEMA, but yeah. So basically, there used to be something called SEMA quality, and if you were a builder, or somebody that went to SEMA, you knew what SEMA quality meant. It meant meticulous paint jobs. It meant build modifications that were right up there with the upper echelon of builds. Right? It meant mods and things that hadn't really come out yet. It meant cars that were legendary in their own right, or pushing the limits, or setting boundaries. So, and the SEMA show was obviously much smaller that many years ago, and even years before that. But when you brought a car to SEMA, there was a very real story or build quality about it. And I think that has slipped in years more recent.
What do you mean?
Well, from my perspective, listen, SEMA is one of those shows, if you've never been there in person, and it's not a car show, it's a trade show, so it's not open to the public. But if you've never been there in person, which you haven't.
No.
Hoping to change that.
I've never been to SEMA.
Right. So, the one thing...
This year.
Hopefully this year.
We'll drive the Miata there.
No, we won't. But it's one of those things that I think that you can walk around SEMA. You can go from booth to booth to booth, and there'll be a Bugatti here, and there'll be a rhinestone or covered or crystal covered Lamborghini here. I mean, some really interesting things with some of these brands. But you can walk around and see $250,000, $500,000 cars, exotics, and anywhere else you would have went, these cars would have stood out to the point where you would have just been walking around it for 5, 10, 15 minutes. But not SEMA. You can walk the row, and that just they get lost in the noise, right? So that still exists. But then there's this other point that so many cars now are, just made to fit the bill. And you'll see a lot of these cars, they made, Jeeps with some bolt-on bumpers and different things. And not that they're not cool cars on their own. Like if they went to a car show, maybe they'd stand out from that. But they're not, to me, a lot of what's still being used or that SEMA quality that people always thought of before you can consider a booth vehicle. I think that has come down a little bit, in my opinion. So I'm not saying that this is 100%, but I think that importance of what quality a car was has declined a little bit on the majority, not in every case. There's still plenty of cars there that are revolutionary and legendary, and
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to demote that, and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm knocking SEMA booth vehicles, but for us over the past few years, we're never going to be the company that even wants to have, like, for us to put a $1 billion Lamborghini in our booth, it would be out of place.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't fit with
our brand.
The brand. Yeah.
So the past few years, I've always looked for a vehicle with a story, or somebody we have a really good relationship with.
Right.
Last year we had we had done it right from the beginning. Chris from B is for Build. He's a YouTuber. I'm sure you know of him, but if you don't, go check him out.
Is he the current YouTuber?
Yeah, he's the current YouTuber.
No, the current YouTuber.
No.
Right. Oh.
Or maybe he is. Anyhow. So basically, we brought him in. He built the 240 Datsun Z.
Ooh,
and did a great job. He put a V10 M5 drivetrain into the car. Very cool. He did that from scratch, and he covered the whole build on his YouTube channel, and then the car showed up at SEMA, and it was a great story, and Chris did a signing, and Chris is doing a signing this year. If you're going to be at SEMA and you want to meet Chris from BS for Build, Thursday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., he will be in our booth doing a signing. So
when is SEMA?
SEMA is November 5th through the 8th, and we're in 2019. So, yeah. So we brought him. Years before that, we brought Savannah Little, one of our racers, and she brought her Z there, and we've done a bunch of cool different cars that have had different stories. We had Chair Slayer the year before when we were working a lot with him, and he brought such a great story because the one thing about Rob is that Rob has a foundation called the Chair Slayer Foundation, and in the Chair Slayer Foundation, his goal is to kind of be able to allow people that have lost the use of their legs or have become paralyzed to basically be able to enjoy motorsports again. His whole car is hand controlled,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Rob's Rob's been one of those relationships we've built over the years where we're really just blessed to know him and hang out with him, and he's a super inspiring dude, and to have kind of an unfortunate situation that happened to him, and he doesn't have any pity on it, and he's like, honestly, like, the dude moves around better than I do. I mean, it's incredible. It's true. Like, I was out with him, and we were on the strip. He had his car trailered. He's a dually,
right?
And we're driving down the strip, and then we had to detach the trailer and drop the trailer, and then open up the car. Open up the door and unstrap the car. I mean, and he was like, no, do that. Do this. You know what I mean? But I mean, he's jumping. I mean, he flung himself out of his chair. He's in the bed. He's detaching this. I mean, it's incredible. Dude is like straight up one of the super hardworking. I don't even know if he sleeps.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's nuts. So we just try to have these good, I think, these cool stories about, and we'll, the quality of the car is maybe secondary to me, as long as it's a real functional car,
Right.
it really works, it has a real story to it. So I think that's been our main push, especially in the last.
So that's how we pick the cars that we're going to put.
Yeah,
in.
I mean, for Avanti, we picked a reliable builder that we knew that would bring the car to the show, and it would show up on time. SEMA is one of those shows, and if you've never been there, the timing on things is nuts. Like, you start building, like, the show starts on Tuesday. You start set up the Tuesday or Wednesday before that. So, you're setting up, you're laying electrical, you're watching these companies lay electrical, and they get they get the carpet down, and then they come with, if your rental piece or your display, then you get there and you have to start setting things up, and you're setting your product up, and well, this all starts to come together super quick, right? And then all of a sudden, like Sunday, like we know Sunday morning is the window that we have to get all of our vehicles moved into the booth. What people don't understand is that you only have that window because, so by Monday, like, even though the show doesn't start till Tuesday,
right?
There's all these booths that are around you that have different setups and setup times.
And you got to maneuver around them.
Yeah. And, there's no aisles. Like, the aisles that people walk through, a lot of them have columns in them. And years ago, they used to put the columns in people's booths, and then they would just tell you where the column was, and you'd build around it, kind of thing.
Right.
But, there had been so many complaints about it that they started putting the columns in the aisles. And so they put these columns in the aisles. And it was great for companies like us that were setting up these booths, and you didn't have to plan to have any obstructions.
Right.
The one thing that it did, Ben, was that when you tried to drive a car in, you no longer could drive through the aisles. Which means that they try to tell you, like, hey, try to get your cars in as soon as possible, because if you get to a point where everybody's set up and their whole display is set up, you may not have a good navigable path to your booth.
Right.
And that's happened. And, we've been there before. I felt bad. One year we had to go through the TSW booth. I mean, luckily those guys are so nice. And we had to actually help them start moving a lot of their wheel products and push some of their booth off to roll
So
our
you
vehicles
can put
through.
the cars in.
Yeah. So reliability is a thing. Like, to know that one of your builders is going to show up on Sunday be there basically waiting on standby. They stay in parking lots like real nearby, and you like call them and you're like, come now. And then they get online, and it may take them 3.5 hours to get from the door from the street to the door, which is like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 feet.
Yeah. Because everybody else is waiting to get in.
And union guys that don't want to, they don't want to stop to move the cars in then, or whatever it may be. It's a complicated process, and so reliability is one thing. Having a really clean car, dedicated, that makes sense for the brand that's using your car. And, for us, we try to pick the ones that are kind of stereotypically work best for us and our brands, right?
So, question, what kind of companies would be there?
Pretty much, I mean, most aftermarket...
would it be... So it's aftermarket parts sellers, or would there be, like, tuner shops there? Or
no,
anything?
you have to be... To be at SEMA, you have to be a manufacturer of a product.
Okay.
Some cases, you'll see a distributor or a wholesaler set up, but they're set up for that manufacturer. Right? So they're displaying one type of product. So, with that whole said and done, most OEs are there as well. So Nissan, Honda, Ford, they're all positioned. Hyundai, Toyota, Honda, and Honda brings like HPD, and like Nissan brings Nismo, And so a lot of times there's vehicles there. BMW does a cool thing where they actually do a ride and drive out in one of the lots there where, like I think last year I think they had M3s set up or M5s.
Nice. You get to whip the new M3s around?
Yeah, so you get to drive them and they kind of have like
Nice.
a proving ground. I know that some of the drift things, Ford had done a thing with Vaughn Gittin Jr. where they had him in the front. I think with Chelsea DeNova last year, and they were giving drift ride-alongs, pretty much the whole show.
That's awesome.
hmm And I know Hoonigan had a big thing out in the parking lot. They did this big, set up Hoonigan garage, donut garage out there. So there's definitely a lot going on. But I would say if you want to get your vehicle into SEMA, and we get this question quite a bit, people say, well, how can you use my car for SEMA? And they'll send it in. It's like a 92 Civic, right? And so the answer is, even if you have a 92 Civic, could your car go to SEMA? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
There's two different types of vehicles. There's feature vehicles, and there's booth vehicles. The sought-after spots usually are booth vehicles. That means you're inside of a company is utilizing your vehicle to display their products.
Yeah.
Feature vehicle usually mean that a company has done the same. They want your car at the show, but it's outside, and there's really no guarantee where your car is going to be placed at the show. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Placement-wise. So, with that whole thing said and done, it's one of those things where, could your 92 Civic end up there? If it's a wild, incredible car that shows off the products of a particular company, and that company is really they do a lot of civic business or whatever it may be, then yes, the answer is yes, your car could go to SEMA. Because that company would want your car if it displays their products well.
Gotcha.
But if your 92 Civic is a really nice car for any car show you would go to, but isn't the cream of the crop, I would say at this point it's going to be very difficult to get your car into SEMA. Right? Very difficult. Doesn't mean it won't happen. And if your car is a brand new car, I think it really depends. You really have to, I would say, you want to get your car to SEMA, make sure you have a really good relationship with a manufacturer that has certain parts on display.
So question then, I hear, I see a lot of people that are saying, I'm building a car for SEMA, or we're working on a SEMA car.
Right.
So then all of those cars have some type of parts that a company is manufacturing to display at SEMA then?
That's a great question. We see that a lot. And I'm sure you've seen this question or comment come in over comments or Instagram DMs or something. People say, my car is going to SEMA and I'm looking to get a set of wheels.
Yeah.
So we always question that. We always say, are you a confirmed car for SEMA? Right? Do you have... So this is generally how it works. That question comes through, or the comment comes through, and they want us to help them out with sponsorship. And we start out by saying, okay, is your car confirmed for SEMA? Usually they'll say no, which means, or they'll say, what do you mean? That means you're not going to SEMA. It's cool. A lot of people intend to build vehicles for SEMA, but they're not really aware that you can't just bring your car and go to SEMA.
Right.
You can't just build a car and go to SEMA. So you have to find a manufacturer that wants you there, that says, I will take your vehicle and I want to use it to display our products. That means either in a booth or as a feature vehicle. The next question we'll ask them, is it a booth vehicle? If they say yes, it's a confirmed vehicle. We'll say, okay, is it a booth vehicle or a feature vehicle? So it's basically saying, is it inside or is it outside?
Right.
Right? And so feature vehicles, for us, we're not always able to offer full support on. There's a lot of feature vehicles. They're all around the show. We don't exactly know where they're going to be. It's tough for us to guarantee placement on some of them. So it's different. When you're in a booth vehicle, these companies, they only say yes to cars that they 100% know are going to show up. They're going to be there. That's when they sign a booth vehicle, they expect that car to be there. That car. So it's it's a bigger commitment to be a booth vehicle, right?
So what happens if car doesn't show up?
Yeah, it's happened to us before, and it's scary. There's a lot of different things. We've had issues where, it's been Monday night. The show starts on Tuesday, and I've been laying on the carpet at Tuesday, 2 a.m. in the morning, because we've figured out, somebody that we could keep the doors open. We've been waiting for a car to show up. Trailers that didn't show up. We had 1 year we had a trailer that had like some sort of massive meltdown. The car ended, like half the trailer caught on fire. Like this car ended up being okay, and they offloaded the car after, think about it. The fire department has to come. They had to get a new chair. They had to move this car. They finally got this car moved over, and the car came, but it didn't show up till almost like right in time for the show.
My gosh!
When it gets that close, a lot of times we're like, oh, well, it's not. We can't even guarantee that it's going to come in. Sometimes you can't get the car in. Doesn't matter if it shows up before the show starts.
Because you might not be able to get in it.
Just might not be able to get it in. So what happens, right? We've had years where we've been able to take, we've had let's say we had a feature vehicle of our own. We've had times where years, I don't know if you could do it every year, but where we've been able to pull that car and put that into our booth. We've had years where we actually had other cars that were feature vehicles of other companies that had our wheels on it that we've been able to move into our booth. We've had years where we actually had to just forego the car. Say, well, that's it. It's not coming in.
Yeah.
Show's got to go on, and the car won't be here. And everybody is kind of super upset and disappointed. And, hopefully it was one of those things that was just so beyond anybody's control. It just happened. There's nothing we can do about it. But, there's been issues where people just haven't finished their builds.
Right.
And, it doesn't speak highly of you to make a commitment like that to a company and then not show up. It's really difficult. I mean, it's still difficult for the builders. SEMA is one of those things. It does not matter how far you plan. You could start 2 years before the show. Trust me, your car will always come down to the last minute. I don't know why. It just does.
That's crazy.
Every time. And we used to build some of them ourselves. And, well, we don't want to do that anymore.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice little UNOS project. But anyways,
no.
So what how big of a company do you have to be to actually be a part of SEMA?
You don't have to be a member to display at SEMA, I don't believe. You can do it as a non-member. The cost is different per for the booth and whatever it may be.
So long as you pay, you can.
Yeah, you can get space as long as you're. I think you have to be a vehicle you have to be a manufacturer of parts for the aftermarket or OE or something like that.
Cool.
But yeah, so there's a lot of different companies there, and most of them use vehicles. So listen, you want to get your car into SEMA? Become friendly with a manufacturer, build a good relationship for them. I would say start early. Right in the May time or April time is a good time. I think having a conversation with them the year before and kind of saying, hey, stay in the loop with them. Make sure that you're building a vehicle that fits the needs of that company, that shows off their products. And
is it just cars, or do they do bikes too?
Well, not really. There's other shows for bikes. I mean, there are some stuff there, but I mean, off-road. There's plenty of Jeeps and trucks and off-road stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So most of the automotive area, but yeah. So form a good relationship, build a really good quality car that fits their needs. Contact them. Do what you can. And I would say there's a potentially good shot that you can get your car, used for SEMA if you do all the right planning. But having your own car, let's say, it's the nicest Hyundai Tiburon in the world, or the nicest. Trying to think of like a really good example of a car that would be like, it could be like a pristine, brand new STI. It doesn't mean it's going to go to SEMA, and it doesn't mean that if you really want to build it and you build the craziest, build ever, it doesn't mean that necessarily you'll go to SEMA just because you have this great car. It takes other factors. So, really work with these companies. You got to build a relationship. You have to work with these companies. You have to find out exactly what they're looking to promote, display, etc. And if you do that and have a great car, you could end up at SEMA. Yeah?
Nice.
Yeah. So, anyhow, that's what we're working on, man. We're trying to get these SEMA cars nailed in this week. We have a lot of arrangements that have to get made. You know, once you lay these SEMA cars in, you have to calculate their size explicitly. You have to know exactly how big they are, you know, within a few inches. Plot them on a floor plan, maneuver your whole display around it.
Oh, wow. So they literally want to know how much space you're taking up.
Well, it's not just them. A lot of times it's us. Like, for example, I have to give them exact dimensions of where they should lay outlets and receptacles for us to have electric. Right?
Oh, wow.
So, like, if I'm going to put a refrigerator over in one corner of our office in the booth, and then I'm going to put, let's say, a TV in the center of our circle, or if I'm going to have lights and, you know, a sign lit up, or, you know, anything like that, I need to tell them the exact location. So I have to say at 18 feet 2 inches, put a 1,000 watt receptacle here.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So how can you accurately do that if you don't know exactly? I mean, you have to figure out which position. So everything's drawn to scale in Illustrator, and we actually determine our floor plan. Once we confirm all the vehicles, we basically say, all right, you know, how many wheels are we taking, where are they going to go? And we start basically playing Tetris of layouts. You know what I mean?
And trying to just fit everything in. And
this way we can come up with the electrical floor plan. And with the electrical floor plan, we have deadlines. Like, SEMA has deadlines. Like, so in other words, I think I have until, I don't know, September. I think September 6th, which is this Friday, I have to finalize the floor plan. And then right after that, I think maybe October 1st, somewhere around there, I have to be able to put in the electrical floor plan, tell them exactly where I need certain receptacles. So there's a lot of planning.
That's interesting. How does that work? They just have random holes and you just position them?
So basically what they do is they drop they have things off the ceiling,
right.
And they come down. They come down the columns, and they basically run these long electrical cords.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Into your booth. They attach what they call a main, which is basically a big plug-in box, and then you plug in all that stuff from there, and they run extension cords under the carpet and tape it down to the floor.
Right.
Back to this main. Yeah. So now that everybody knows how they lay electrical at SEMA and they don't care, that's how they do it. Yeah, that's it. So I guess we've been ranting long enough. Anyhow, so that's how you get your car to SEMA. If you have any questions about that, I mean, I didn't know that necessarily we were going there right today, but we went there. So if you want to know, or if you've been asking, you know, or you've been thinking about building a car for SEMA, that's kind of what you need to know. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Shoot us a message.
Leave them in the comments.
Yeah.
And then, guys, check your emails. We emailed a potential winner. So if you don't check it within 24 hours, then we got to pick somebody else.
Yeah, that's accurate. So
check your emails. Make sure you're already subscribed to the newsletter and our YouTube channel.
Yep. And hopefully by the time I get back, one of the guys will tell me that we have had a confirmation back, and then this won't be whatever. But we thank you a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For subscribing and following us. And if you're listening to this podcast or you're watching us on YouTube, really appreciate it. Really, I don't want you to it means a great deal to us that you're listening and that you're kind of involved in our ecosystem. And because of that, we're going to continue to try to bring value and do things besides just the content and the videos. We're going to randomly pick people and send some things out. And you being subscribed is a great way for you to be in on that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And we've done that before.
This whole giveaway, we had the question come up so many times. Well, I've already subscribed to your email newsletter, and I've subscribed to your YouTube channel, and I'm like, you're good, you're in.
You're already entered.
You don't have to do anything else. Like everything we do, like if we're working on that platform for a giveaway or whatever it may be, you're already in. You're just in. You're in already. Like, thank you. Right?
That's it. Awesome.
That's it.
Good job, guys. Thumbs up.
Anyhow, that's it. We'll let you go back to your Wednesday. Thanks for listening. For more info on the podcast, head over to konigwheels.com/podcast. And I don't know. We'll catch you out next Wednesday.
Peace.